All right, we are here at Connect Live in Nashville. We just got off stage, or actually, these lovely folks just got off stage with their session breakdown. We've got Nalani and Sarina, we've got Greg Drew, Julian Herzfeld. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm a gentleman, so I'm going to start with the ladies. You guys have been like rocking all morning with us. You kicked off our Connect Live event. Thank you so much for doing that. You went right into our roundup panel, into your own artist panel, and now the breakout. You guys must be exhausted.
Are you kidding me? We don't want to leave.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
So you're back in Nashville. What's next for you guys? I know you guys are leaving, but before you leave Nashville, do you guys plan on getting into any other trouble here?
I mean,
Food.
we definitely want to check out the rest of NAMM. Definitely want to hit up some more food places, maybe some barbecue or some biscuits. But yeah, definitely want to soak in the rest of this music city before we leave.
Awesome. So,
Can I just say, if I ate like them, I would weigh 400 pounds. And for some reason, it just doesn't work out, you know? So.
I'm right there with you. So I take it you're not going to lunch or dinner with the girls.
Something, but I'm not going to have like 73 biscuits and then a bunch of desserts like them.
So you guys just did an amazing job. That was really cool. Thank you for sharing that session with us and breaking it down. So I have to ask before we kind of dive back into that. And for you guys specifically, was it strange kind of sitting and kind of looking at, having it on this huge screen and kind of talking through it?
That's always strange. That's always strange because I'm sitting in a studio with my nose buried into a couple of screens and monitors, and this is just a totally different experience.
I think also when you're working on a song and you're putting together the whole piece, you tend to think of everything as a unit, as how does it serve the final process. And now when you have to sort of break it down piece by piece, and it's like, okay, this is why we did this on this thing, and there were certain parts of it when we were preparing for this, there were certain things that I'd forgotten that we had done, or different effects or different choices that we made, and it's like, oh, it's all coming back now. And when you're doing it, it feels very organic, and then when you're doing
picking it apart, when you're actually picking it apart, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute, let me dissect this. It's like going back to biology class with a frog. it's
Reanimating the frog?
Yeah.
No, not reanimating it, but just picking it apart and saying, oh, okay, that's a nerve. Yeah.
So for all four of you, now that you've gone through this, and I know whenever I do demos, and if it's my own material, sometimes I'm like, I could make this change, and even though the song's already out, it lives already out there. Did you find yourself? Because I was looking at you guys from the audience, and I kind of saw there a couple of times you're like, I felt that gears were kind of turning. Do you ever think like, maybe we'll go back and change something or edit something?
I mean, I think we try to tell ourselves not to think that way, because then we just would never get any sleep and we would just be neurotic. But I mean, it's always, like you said, like it's very interesting to listen back and see certain synths that we added, things that I completely forgot about when you're listening to the entire track. But when you go back, you're like, oh, okay, this is nice.
It's knowing when to let go of your baby.
Yep.
Someone never. Come to that realization, you say, go do your own thing. Yep.
How do you guys feel about that?
That was one of the things. I've been lucky enough as a vocal coach to work with a lot of successful acts, and that was one of the things I learned from them. You can always find things to, quote, make it better. A lot of times all you do is make it different. And once you've made your best possible choices, you put it out there in the world and go on to the next thing.
Close to a year ago? Maybe longer. And of course, when you look back at something you did a year ago, you always go, well, maybe I could have tweaked that. But then you have to look at it as that was a timestamp. So you just take it for that and you go, that was really cool.
Awesome. Julian?
I tend to like walking away from a mix. I mean, and just...
You do a lot of walking away.
No, I don't do a lot of walk. But I walk away from mix, and I think if somebody else wants to come in and remix it and put a fresh perspective on it or a fresh set of ears on it, that's a whole different animal. So, this stands as alone as a piece, and then, I just let it be from there.
We always try. We work very hard at making the best ever we can to make the best finished product we can at that time, and then as I say, you put it out there and you move on to the next thing, and other people become the judge of what's their favorite song, what's their favorite. One of the cool things about their album, The Circle, is I have had people tell me their favorite song on the record. There's 11 songs on the record, and I've had 8 different songs told to me as their favorite song, and that says, okay, we're on the right track.
That's awesome. So there's one thing I wanted to mention, and it's kind of ridiculous. I feel kind of ridiculous even having to bring it up, and even ridiculous I'm about to give you kudos for something that I shouldn't have to, but I'm giving it to you guys because kudos to you guys for treating them as human beings and artists as they are, but and not just like, as you guys mentioned that you've worked with other producers in the past and they just kind of treated you like, was it chick singers? Like, ridiculous, but
That's what they are.
All right, I'm done.
No, the first off, they're the ones writing the songs, and they're the ones whose name is on the front cover. And again, that's just something that I learned. When I worked with Lenny Kravitz, he would ask me my opinion on things, and I would always tell him what I thought as honestly as possible, or the guys in Living Color. But ultimately, it's their record, and so what I thought was not as important as what they thought. And so the idea that you're going to treat somebody who's as talented as the 2 of them like they don't have any input on anything, that's preposterous. Yeah. And I know it's an unfortunate fact of the music business, but I it's just, I'm not going to be that way. And
Amen.
Neither is he, I mean, that's probably why we've been able to work together for so long, is that we weren't that way, and it was different. I mean, I remember the first time they said to us, "You want us to be here when we're mixing?" I'm like, yeah.
They caught us at a young age. I mean, we were recording with other producers when we were 15, 16, and when we met them, it was a breath of fresh air. So we were, in fact, lucky, because there's other artists that don't realize they do have a say. It is their name on the front cover.
It's empowerment to the artist, and that's what's important.
That's artist first. So guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, we expect that we're going to hear a lot more from you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. A lot more to see here, guys, right here at Connect Live in Nashville, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.